Good evening and welcome to the Village Board meeting for the Village of Pleasantville. Today is Monday, August 22. If you're watching live on Monday, August 22, we encourage you to call in if you have comments or questions. Our call-in number, what is our call-in number?
Oh.
It's not
69212.
Yeah, hold on.
It's amazing. How many times have you said it?
How many times have I said it? I'll look up the last meeting.
I never can get it straight
Hold
either.
on.
And the PCDV channels, or
Call in
don't even ask.
769-1677. So if you're watching live on Monday, August 22, we encourage you to call in if you have comments or questions at 769-1677. We started our evening tonight in an executive session regarding advice of counsel on the assisted care facility application. Our next regular meeting is scheduled for Monday, September 12 at 8 p.m. with a work session at 7. I had a couple of announcements to make. First of which is that we are, I guess, just a week now away from the end of the Sawmill River Detour. Have I got that right, Patty?
I think so, yeah. Almost finished.
As I think almost everybody knows, the sawmill is currently narrowed to a single lane in each direction for a period of time between Grant Street and a little south of Bedford Road. They are working hard on the bridge project, and we expect that to reopen within the week. So it is in that difficult process. Also wanted to remind everybody that we're in the midst of a master planning process, working with the folks at BFJ Planning and the Village Board and engaging any and all members of the village who are interested in it. If you go to the village website at pleasantville-ny.gov, on the left-hand column, you can click on Master Plan, and you will see not only a bunch of documents about master plans in the past, but also over time evolving table of contents of documents that we are starting to put together. So BFJ came and spoke to us at our meeting the last time in work session and kicked around some of the preliminary results they were coming up with and some of their preliminary ideas and recommendations. We're going to schedule a meeting in September, a public meeting that everybody will be invited to come to, that will also be taped and be available both on PCTV.org as well as the village website. So anybody who's interested in the subject of the village master plan, particularly the development of the downtown and its nearby environs, we encourage you to get yourselves to pleasantville-ny.gov, and while you're at it, click on the subscribe to news, and you can choose from a menu of possible pieces of news you might like to get from the village as a regular email. So more on that to come. Keep your eyes and ears open. Also wanted to note what many of you probably already know, and that is that Metro North has now rolled out an electronic ticketing option for those who ride the Harlem line. You can download an app that allows you to buy tickets through your smartphone and show them to the conductor. So that's an interesting additional option for people. And just today, they went live with 2 new big LCD screens, one up in the overpass and one down on the train platform, that show the train status for trains coming and going from Pleasantville. So some, I think, really positive things going on with Metro North, and I thank them for that. Anybody else have other announcements?
I have just one thing. Also on the front page of our website is, on the menu on the left, is a volunteer button. Thank you, Patty and Judy, very much. So I think this is great. And you can just, get engaged in the village, and there's a number of committees and boards that if you could look up what they do, and if you're interested, please provide us with an application. It goes to our clerk and administrator, right?
Yes,
And
goes
we'll
right
process
into
the
Judy's
application. You
mailbox.
get interviewed by us, this motley crew up here, and hopefully we'll find a place for you. But just get engaged and get involved in the village, and we'd love to have you.
All true. Thank you. Anybody else?
Just a reminder that hurricane season is approaching.
Indeed.
Code Red sign-ups on the front page of our webpage would be greatly appreciated. If something comes up, will be really valuable information for you that we might need to give you.
Thank you for that. In fact,
Sure.
I'll probably do an all-call again, a test sometime in
Great.
September.
Okay, so we'll announce when that comes, but any of you who are already signed up with the Code Red, which is our emergency contact system, at some point in September we'll schedule a test call so that you will get an email, a text message, or a phone call in whatever manner you ask to be connected, just to make sure the system is operating. So, all right, thank you for that. Any further announcements? Any comments from the public on this or any other subject? Welcome, sir. Enter and sign in, please. You need to come up to the mic and let us know who you are and where you live, even though we know.
Okay, Bill Roundtree?
Yeah, wait till you get to the
We
mic.
gotta
Hold
go up, we
on.
gotta hear you.
Wait till you get to the mic.
Bill Roundtree, 24 Grove Street.
Welcome.
Thanks. I'm here just because I noticed the master plan was on the agenda, and if, I don't totally understand the agendas. I know there's 3 different, a work, executive, and a regular.
Right.
So I wanted to get an understanding about the master plan and how it moves forward. I sent emails, and I know some of my neighbors sent emails to the email address that we were given during the master plan meeting that was open
Right.
to the public. And then we hadn't got responses, so I was wondering, I don't know if that, maybe you could ask them to respond to make sure we know they got our
Yeah.
emails.
So are those landing, Patty? All
It should be landing at Judy's mailbox.
right,
Find out
so
where
can
they're
you find out what's going on with that?
Well, they-
Because we
yeah,
should all
we-
see what comes.
Yeah, it wasn't meant as a response, it's you getting hearing from you and what your comments are, so we can get those on the record for when we have even our next meeting. Might have missed the first one.
No, he was there.
Oh, you were there, so now you get to come to another one too,
Yeah,
hopefully.
so,
And
that's-
get the Grove
I
Street.
do
That's
think-
kind of my understanding, is like, they
Yeah.
wanted our input, and they said,
Right.
please send it to this
They're
email, but
totally-
I don't know if they get
they're
it.
totally.
Please get an auto
So
response.
we should get an auto respond on that so people know it landed, but also, Patty,
Send myself
a mechanism
right
by
now.
which we can all see what people are offering in the way of comments.
Right.
So, because we haven't seen those back yet. So, thank you for pointing that out. That's great.
My understanding is they were going to the consulting company.
Yes,
And
Susan
so they
Favante
probably
got
have received
them.
them, we're
Yeah.
assuming.
Still, we need to
Well,
see them
Susan
too.
should get a confirmation, and we should see them.
Right, and that leads me to my next question is that I guess it was discussed, some discussion was last meeting.
Yes.
Because I saw the article in the Examiner.
Right.
And then there's going to be some discussion tonight, maybe in a private
Well,
meeting.
so, no, not in a private meeting.
Oh.
The executive session is only matters, very limited matters that can be discussed or should be discussed in a private session. What we were going to do tonight is just kind of informally update, make sure that Joe and Steve, who were not here last
For the
week,
last one.
are up to date on the discussion we had with BFJ. Frank Fish, Susan Favate, and John from BFJ came and showed us the draft document that's starting to take shape, has lots of holes in it. Is that posted now on the web,
That
Patty?
was a work session that was open
I
to the
didn't post it
public.
because it was draft.
Okay,
But
so,
it wasn't on the
but-
website, so we had a hard time. People at
What do you mean it wasn't?
last, the website that the village lists with the meetings, I knew about it because I have signed up for these email notifications.
Right?
And I mentioned to some neighbors, oh, you should go. And they said, it's nowhere listed. Where? And the only reason apparently I knew about it is because I
'cause you
have
got the
signed up
email.
for emails. But if you go to the village, we don't update our website, so it didn't show that it was on the agenda for the last meeting.
so if you click into the meeting, don't you get the agenda?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
it should-
so
should
if you
be-
click
On the
the
calendar.
meeting on the village calendar, it brings up the agenda, not only for the village board, but planning commission, architecture review board, zoning board, et cetera. So that's what people should do, but as you have already pointed out, the best way of all, especially if there's a subject of some interest in the neighborhood like this, is to sign up for village board emails, and then you'll get,
Let's
you'll get the
understand,
agenda.
I want to understand the process that the public sees, because we get an agenda, it gets emailed to us. Easy enough because we're on the board, so we get the agenda, but we don't get this agenda until Thursday or Friday before the meeting. I sometimes don't know what's going to be on that meeting until Friday before the Monday meeting. I'm assuming that's because it gets completed around Thursday or Friday before.
Friday afternoon,
And it gets,
Right.
and it gets posted after that.
exactly.
So it might not get posted till Monday morning.
No, it gets posted Friday afternoon.
Okay,
Friday
so there's a
afternoon.
very
The
short
documents.
window, Friday afternoons for a upcoming Monday meeting. So if anybody's not on the list to receive agendas electronically, like you are, and like I am otherwise anyway, even though I'm not on the board, even though I'm on the board, but I did that anyway. If they want to look, they got to look Friday night or Saturday or Monday morning, I suppose. You know, anytime after Friday night, there's a small window.
You guys pretty much know when we do, you know.
But the way you can get to that is you go to the village calendar in the lower right of the homepage, click on a date, and then Monday, August 22nd shows 7 p.m. Village Board of Trustees work session, 8 p.m. regular session.
And
Each
does
of
it
those,
show-
each of those is a clickable link.
And it shows our agenda tonight.
Correct.
Okay.
So maybe we
And
can
the
do,
reason it's-
make it a step easier than that, I'm not
And the
sure.
reason it comes up so late is because
Oh,
they're working
this
hard to
is-
gather information. It's just a matter of
Yeah.
administratively being able to put that
The
together.
lateness
before-
wasn't an issue. I think Peter makes a better point. It was a little bit hard to get to. So I was out of town, and since Grove Street's basically in downtown, everyone in the street's so concerned with the sort of the future master plan because once it's set, this is going to really affect us. So
Right.
everyone's trying to get a sense. I said, hey, I'm out of town, but I got an email. The meeting's tonight. Well, Roger and Greg Duran, who are neighbors of mine, both couldn't find it. Now, I don't know, they just didn't click enough times. But I asked Evelyn Latella, who's also on our street, and she said, oh, it's not updated. So we all could be wrong. But that is
Well-
the sense that everyone's getting.
It is there. However, the other piece of this that's about to change, and I think for the better, is that we're about to use Novus Agenda, which is a different package, an online package for managing our agenda items and our resolutions. And that, Patty, is going to change this process in ways that will, I think, make it a lot easier for people. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think the content for the meetings would be a lot easier to find. The agendas will still come out on Friday before the meetings, just because, I think the board always wanted to,
Well, I had
extend.
requested they come on Thursday to us because it gives us a little more time to.
Right, but the
we
point,
have
but
to
the point
reason.
being that the public, I don't know how easier we can make it for people to get
Well, yeah.
the
you can't-
agendas.
If
because-
it's not there, that's the
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah, the
but
timing
it's
wasn't an
supposed to
issue. They
be
were all
there.
looking Monday.
Yeah.
So
but-
it's just, maybe we need lessons. I don't know.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I mean, 3 people couldn't get it, and so no
But you're
one,
talking
no one
about
came
Do we
last.
have any problem
Tonight's
posting
meeting,
it?
or which meeting are you talking
last
There's
about?
no
meeting.
problem posting it. I think the
Talking about
difficulty is
the
that
8th.
Right.
They don't realize
It's on the- I
that
see
the
it right now.
agendas
I'm looking
are
at it on-
in the calendar.
In the calendar.
Maybe
That's what
that's-
it's going to be.
That's the problem with the new vote, with the new.
It'll be right on the
process.
homepage.
It'll be
It
right
will
on the-
say
Yeah,
agendas.
right. Click
Maybe
right
that's
there.
what they were
I
expecting.
think
So-
that's.
You know what
We
else
have a left.
is, in the left column, it says agendas and minutes, and although that's there too.
Yeah, it's there.
Oh, so
But
it is there.
from
there.
from the
Yeah.
work session, Patty, on the 8th.
Yeah,
Were we going to post those materials, or were we waiting because they were drafts?
yeah, we were gonna wait, but I
Okay.
have.
So that's unfortunate because we don't even videotape those either.
I
for
think we
you.
should post the drafts. Why not, Patty? I mean, clearly marked draft, there are a lot of holes
We
in it.
discussed,
But we can't,
we
it's-
discussed things you'd be interested in.
Yeah, no, and that's actually one of the things that people, it's on the agenda in one form
Right.
last week, it's on the agenda in another form this week, and maybe another month or so will go by before we get presented with something else, and,
Well,
you'd like to be involved.
Understood. So let me say with certainty that, first off, as this has started to take shape, we are going to have a well-publicized public meeting in September to talk about all of this, and it is entirely in draft at that point as well. It's not as though anybody has said, this is what we're going to do, now we're rolling it out in a PR campaign. So, I'm not sure why they couldn't find it, because if you click agendas and minutes or in the village calendar, you get to it both ways. So,
Anytime you can't find anything, pick up the phone. I will be happy to email it to you.
Okay.
anytime.
Unfortunately, I wasn't the one who could.
Yeah,
yeah, but people, but
I
by
had
far,
it emailed to
yeah.
me, and I was away.
By
so-
far, the best way of all
Right.
is for people to go to subscribe to news and choose the village board agenda as one of the things they want to get, and then they get it automatically, and if it's of no interest, just delete it. But that is going to be not only, that requires no proactive activity at all, it's going to show up in your inbox, so.
So we were standing up here, and tonight we were supposed to talk about when we're going to plan unless we, I was here, we were going to plan the next public session. So we were thinking about the 23rd or something, right?
We were, yes.
So I don't
You
know,
haven't-
when are we doing that? So this gentleman could be.
So we haven't finalized the date. We were trying to make sure we weren't in the way of back-to-school nights and that sort of stuff.
Right,
I
that's
think,
it.
I think you were settling in on either the 26th or the 20th of September.
26th
And I
of
think the
Friday night.
Sorry?
No, you're looking at August.
I'm looking at August, yeah.
Yeah, the recommendation was we would meet early on the 26th for our regular meeting and then have the work session.
I don't think it should be the same night, just like Peter does it.
I agree. I think it ought to be its own night.
It should be its own night because it's going to
Yeah.
last long, and it should last long.
All right, so in work session, we're going to work out this date.
Right.
It's going to
And
be in
that's after
September. We're
this.
going to invite you.
Yeah, we don't have to decide
Yeah,
now.
I wholeheartedly endorse the notion of everybody signing up for news, and if an issue passes and you're no longer interested, you can unsubscribe.
Yeah, no, first of all, I'm getting a better understanding of what's going on, which is helpful, and maybe I've learned a little bit how I can help people find the information. You know, the article in the Examiner was very pro-development and, you know, let's encourage more development, which, you know, might affect people. So if you have those drafts that you're talking about, as soon as they get published, it'd be great to see them.
Sure. Yeah.
It
So-
wasn't a draft of a master plan. It was a document that sort of outlined and bullet pointed all the great ideas that everybody at the meeting had, and sort of said, you know, there's a sentiment for this type of development or that type of development or this type of restriction or whatever it is. You know, it was like that.
Well, that was the
much
follow-up
more
piece to the
Right.
public meeting, but the draft we're talking about from the 8th is the beginning draft of what BFJ is putting together. It's, you know,
And then they
60 or 80
also
pages of
recommended
stuff.
some other changes to the code that would, maybe we can work within our master plan. So, and it did address some of the issues that I know people on Grove Street are very concerned about.
And just to bring a point to those, some of the ideas that BFJ came back with were the ideas that in some locations it might be appropriate to increase the current maximum height in the downtown from 3 stories to 4. And again, all in rough draft. They suggested that you might establish a 150-foot buffer around that to residential districts. That is to say, you wouldn't increase the height within 150 feet of a residential district, but you might elsewhere. So, for example, that would, if enacted that way, would allow the railroad track side of Washington potentially to be 4 stories, but not the other side.
Right, and the Examiner said as
Right,
much as that.
and potentially most of Wheeler theoretically allowed to be 4 stories, where at the moment it's only allowed to be 3, and likewise the space on the other side of Memorial Plaza. So obviously that will have to be vetted, but that was one of the things that was discussed. The other thing that was discussed in some detail was the question of whether the square footage of property required per apartment in a multifamily building was itself the thing that was making it impossible for anybody to build. That is to say, you have the right to build a 3-story building in X location, but the amount of square footage of lot that's required per unit means that you can't build enough units to actually populate 3 stories. So those were some of the issues that were under discussion, and will get discussed in greater detail,
Right.
for sure.
Nothing was decided.
Right.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments from the public on this or any other subject? All right. With that, we'll roll to a short and mostly unexciting series of resolutions. Steve, number 141.
Resolved that pre-check register dated August 22nd, 2016, covering check numbers 84184 through 84298 has been reviewed, and they are hereby approved as listed below. From the general fund, the water fund, the capital fund, the refuse fund, the pool fund, and the trust and agency fund, a total of $444,033.80.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or questions on the check register?
I had 2. One, I saw some charges for our planner through the planning board that should be reimbursable. So are we paying them before they're reimbursed, or they're just coming out of their account that they have set up for their escrow account? I've never seen that many charges for planning on there, and specific to certain applications.
Right.
What page are you on, Mindy? I'll tell you how you can see where the codes
Do
are.
you want me to
with
go
your-
to a page?
Yeah, well, these are for
Jeez.
Frederick Clark.
Yeah.
Frederick Clark or for BFJ? Clark?
Frederick Clark.
Okay.
Hold on, I don't know if I
I have it. No, that's okay.
got it.
Yeah, if you see, for example, on page 9, there are a couple of invoices, and you'll see T accounts. Those are trust accounts. So
Okay.
it's being charged to a trust for Passy.
Okay.
And the other one is Marble Avenue, Archie's Realty. So to answer your question, we have to pay them, but the money is available in trust fund accounts for those applicants.
And I'm sure we have a check and balance set up that we're not paying something that isn't, when they don't have any money in their escrow.
Right,
Because
they
some
have
of
to
these were
replenish their escrow.
larger than,
Substantial.
yeah.
Correct. They'll have to-
Okay. And the other thing is a lot of music festival
Yeah.
expenses came in
Yes.
late. Late?
Oh, that's
Or-
about right. I mean, it was only,
30 days,
yeah, a little over a month ago.
30?
30, 45. That's about it.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
about right.
Okay.
It's one of the problems we have in coming for the final accounting.
Yeah.
Is the stuff rolls in
This
for
rolls
another
in
couple of
late,
months.
yeah.
We're in the black by a little bit right now, so that's the good news.
Yeah, that delta is not as big as it was a few weeks ago, right?
Well, I didn't give a report yet.
Yeah. No, I thought we just had talked about some numbers.
All right.
There are numbers floating around out there, by the way, how much money we made. I'm telling you that. I
How
was
much
talking
we
to
made? You didn't make more than $10,000. I'll
I'm
tell
just
you
saying,
that right
I've
now.
spoken to people, and they've said, hey, I heard we made X amount of dollars. They were big numbers.
Yeah, the village
I
brought
said,
in.
I don't know. I'm on the village board. I didn't get a report
Yeah, right.
yet. I don't know.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, it's not a money-making enterprise.
I
That's
understand
not what we're
that.
in
I
for,
understand. I just
but
think
we
it's
do need to
interesting.
make it cover itself. so.
Yeah. Well, we've
Yeah.
generated, I mean, the revenue was close to $200,000.
Which is great.
The expenses were close to $200,000.
Listen, if we're in the black by $1, it's a grand
There you
slam
go.
with
Yeah.
that event. So
Yeah, it's just that we have to build a little
I just
kitty
want you to
against,
manage those
you know.
expectations
Yeah.
if people think we're doing this for money. First of all,
I
that's
know.
not lawful. We cannot run those types of businesses. We're a
Right.
local government. We can't make profits.
Right. We're not allowed to make profits.
All right,
So
so
we
we've
know.
rambled here. Any further comments on the check register? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. 142.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the request from the Jacob Burns Film Center to erect a banner on Manville Road in conjunction with a special event.
Is there a second?
Second.
So Patty, what's the timing of this? How long would it be up?
Oh, about 2 weeks in advance of the event, so it was third week in September, I think, so for 2 weeks. I spoke with Peter Rogovin, because we do have the farmer's market banner up there right now, and he totally understood that it was appropriate to promote other things going on in the village. So.
And have we seen the banner? Because we've had some issues with size and,
We've given
Like,
them
it's all
information on where
approved
to
and-
order and
Right.
how to cut it and make sure it deals with the
Wind.
wind load and
So-
Right,
everything else. So,
wind, right.
The event is Art House Theater Day,
yes,
which is a national event. So
right.
could we just modify this resolution to say, approves request to erect a banner for Art House
Sure.
Theater Day for approximately 2 weeks prior to the event, which is September 24?
Correct.
and nothing about the conformity of the banner? Because, we have had issues with
We don't have
people
banners.
wanting to put banners.
I mean, first up, we put them up, right?
Yeah.
Our guys
Yeah,
put them up,
but-
so you gave him the same specs the farm market uses, so,
You did?
We gave them guidance,
Right,
yes.
so-
We're fine. Are we fine?
All right?
Movers and seconds?
we're okay?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
motion approved. 143, Colleen.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby extends the agreement with Zwilling J.A. Henckels dated August 24, 2015 for 12 months for use of the Village Lane parking lot by County Fabricators LLC.
Is there a second?
Second.
So this reflects some cooperation with two village businesses, Henckels as well as County Fabricators, which is diagonally across the street on Marble Avenue. And it refers to the parking lot adjacent to our playing fields, but that lot is actually owned by Henkel, and we are allowed to use it by an agreement with Henkel. So this agreement for County Fabricators to use a piece of it, that fenced-in area, for a 12-month period was based on their rush work assisting with the Tappan Zee Bridge, and they have proposed to extend it for another 12 months. Have I accurately represented that, Patty?
That's correct.
I know that at the very beginning, there might have been an issue of them, starting work a little too early one day or working too late or whatever it was. But then after they were spoken to, have they come in line and their operations have been smooth and in accordance with our requirements?
Yes, we hadn't had any reason to discuss their use of that property with them or with Henckels. They've been very neat. They've been maintaining it and
And my
working
observation is they're
within-
behind the fence and they keep it enclosed.
Well,
Right,
I,
That's just my
I,
observation.
I, they had vehicles parked outside of the perimeter of what was designated for them. A large vehicle.
Which actually I think is
Yeah,
Henckels,
I don't know if it was.
not
yeah.
theirs, at
I
least
mean, there
at the
wasn't,
moment.
there wasn't any activity, you know, it's in the middle of the summer day, but, you know, if that's not what's within the agreement. You know,
But
you
I
start
don't-
getting
I-
sports down at that field, and that big giant truck is sitting there. So, we need to make sure they're gonna be within that perimeter.
I think that, I'm not certain, but at least at one point that truck was Henckels,
It was
related to
Henckels.
Henckels.
It wasn't it wasn't
It
our.
was, it was a giant truck. I mean, I don't know what Henckels is using a giant truck like this. This looked like it was picking up those metal beams versus.
Yeah, well, I don't know, I maybe didn't see it, so.
So, I just, you know, they've got to be, school starting. I mean, we got active fields down there already, so,
Well, we'll certainly remind them of,
yeah, that'd
you
be
know,
great.
their obligations under it, and, you know, hopefully they'll continue to
Patty,
manage it well.
the idea of a 1-year extension, do they need a 1 year? Do they need it for a year? I mean, the deadline is this year, so it seems, do they anticipate needing it for
It's a
another
good
full
question.
year?
I think we'll ask them for, you know, an updated schedule on where they are in the process with their work, with their contracts.
Well,
Because
what
we
did
don't
they
want
say
them to
about the Tappan Zee Bridge? That delay is significant.
Well, I don't
That's
know what
why
their
they're
role
delayed.
is, though. They, you know, where is their piece of the puzzle, so to speak? They may be wrapping up quicker than the rest of them.
Are these the
I don't
girders?
particularly, I don't
Yeah.
particularly have a problem. I mean, I think a year is as good as anything else.
Like-
I'm just curious.
I mean, I wouldn't know that unless I asked them how
Yeah.
long their contract is.
Look, it's, obviously, it's not a permanent arrangement, and it's a benefit both to Henckels, which actually owns the property, and to County Fabricators, which is a major village business. And they have indicated a willingness to assist us in a couple of ways as well
Right.
as part of this. So it feels like one of those opportunities when we can be business-friendly in a way that benefits everybody without too much impact.
Yeah, and if they need more time, they'll come back.
Yeah.
I also think, though, it's important to maybe perhaps remind them that it is temporary. You know, when the bridge is done,
You're out of
It's
here.
gonna be
Put a lot
done.
back, yeah.
That's right.
Done.
It's
I
definitely-
don't want them to get the
This is
feeling
the
that
belly of
they,
the
oh, look at us,
beast
we got
they're
extra
building.
workspace for.
Yeah, all of a sudden we based our business around that parking lot. Do we need to modify the language to say partial use or part of the use of Village Lane? Right now, it sort of implies they have the whole parking lot, or do we not?
Well, there were very distinct
it's in the
parameters. I didn't
agreement.
read
But
the.
in the resolution, it refers to
No,
use of
but it-
Village Lane.
Yeah, but it refers to the, I mean, the actual agreement
That's true. Fair enough.
is pretty clear about it, and it's the same agreement we signed a year ago, and it came off without too much difficulty, so.
Very good.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
motion approved, 144.
I have to scroll to it. Give me just a moment.
It's appropriate for you to get this, or maybe you have to recuse yourself.
I'm gonna move it and then recuse myself.
Were you
That's what I'm gonna do.
Were you invited? Let's check.
Did you sign, Joe? If you
Somebody,
signed, I don't
somebody
know.
from my household signed. If you look at
I
the
didn't-
petition,
I
you'll see
didn't-
who it is. Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the request from Romer Avenue residents to hold a block party on Monday, September 5, 2016, from 3 o'clock p.m. until 11 o'clock p.m.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or
I think the
questions?
same person signed this whole thing. They all scribbled.
Yeah.
Oh, no, my
I don't know who's
a
that.
resident of my household signed that. Might be the youngest resident.
Ah.
But old enough to have signed.
Of
so.
course.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion approved. 145, Steve.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a series of budget amendments that increase revenue and expenses in the various funds. So I will go through this as cleanly as possible. Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following budget amendments to increase revenue and expense in the general fund. We're moving $200,000 from fees Panther Club to the expenditure accounts, $180,000 to Panther Club part-time, $5,000 to Panther Club overtime, $10,000 to Panther Club supplies, $5,000 to Panther Club outside services. $56,000 is moved from Music Festival, $55 in the expenditure column, $55 to Music Festival part-time, $751 to Music Festival overtime, $45,194 to Music Festival contractual. Then we're moving $19,548 from Cablevision PEG funds to pass-through payments to PCTV, and then a further $1,998 from Verizon PEG funds to pass-through payments to PCTV. That last segment is $21,546 in total.
Second.
Any comments or questions?
It's riveting. What we're basically doing is just truing up accounts to move money, from a revenue account to a place that we can draw a check from. That's it.
That is correct.
And while we're looking at those for the Panther Club, I should already have mentioned, and didn't in the earlier announcements, that as I think many parents of school-age kids know, the village is running a program called the Panther Club that will take place in Bedford Road School Monday to Friday from 3 to 6:30 p.m., which will be an after-school opportunity for working parents or parents who are looking for an enrichment activity for their kids. You can sign up for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 or 5 days per week at a sliding scale. There's plenty of information available in the rec department section of pleasantville-ny.gov. Kids from the middle school who want to participate will be walked over to BRS, and everybody will have their afternoon at BRS. So I think it's a great program. It's new for the village to be doing this, but a great opportunity for Pleasantville parents to address their after-school care needs and to do it right in the friendly confines of BRS. Any further comments or questions about the budget amendments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. 146.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees has reviewed the minutes of the meeting held on Monday, August 8th, and they are hereby approved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments, corrections to the minutes?
You can't second it, you weren't here.
That's true.
Only you could do it, Colleen.
Second.
I think actually he could.
But you can
It's just
approve.
a
No, he's
question of
not
whether
allowed.
he should.
You can approve.
Can't vote.
He can,
No, he can't.
No, we
Anyway, let's
can.
move on.
Actually, you can vote.
You can vote.
Yeah.
You weren't here.
I wasn't here.
All right. All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions?
Aye.
Abstain.
All right, there you have it. Motion approved. The minutes have been approved. That was the last of our resolutions tonight. Anybody have any further comments for public discussion before we go back into work session? All right, we'll be returning to work session, several different subjects, a Panther Club program update, folks on Sunnyside and Guyan interested in speed tables, a discussion about a possible fall food truck festival, a New York Power Authority electric vehicle rebate program that potentially would allow us to install charging stations, and then, as you may have already heard in the discussion earlier, bringing everybody up to date on the discussions we've had with master plan. So, is there a motion to adjourn the regular meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night. See you soon. September 12th is the next meeting. Good night.
September 12th.